Good morning. So I thought I would share with you a special card that I have. This card came from Rishikesh, from the ashram where I did my advanced yoga training last year. And at our ceremony, at our graduation ceremony, there are certain things that happen. It's just beautiful and very emotional, and the music's amazing. We're all dressed in white, and yeah, so it makes a big impact on you. And after we get our blessing, and we shake teachers' hands, we are invited to select from a deck of cards, and these are inspirational cards. You've seen them around. But this deck was created by Anand Mehrotra, and he is our guru at the ashram, Sattva. And I was really kind of nervous when I was going through the line. I was just really overwhelmed, and I initially went to pull out a card, and I stopped myself, and then I just took a big deep breath, paused, closed my eyes, and then chose a card. So this is the card. It shows a woman in, my hands are a little, got a migraine today. Again, hands are a bit shaky. So it's a woman standing alone in a river. And here is the message that I pulled out. Only the one who can truly be alone without needing anyone or anything is capable of authentic relating. And I thought that would be a great way to begin our session today, is to have that as our theme, to explore that isolation and being alone do not have to be a traumatic, negative experience. They can be, if you choose, very nurturing and healing, an opportunity to create new patterns in the break. So I'll tell you a little story. First time I really experienced isolation, social isolation, was when I was about 17, and things were getting pretty out of control in my home. My father had a drug addiction problem, and he was an alcoholic, and therefore violence was pretty much a common occurrence in the house. And my mother was also violent. And so my track coach, I had gone from, being a pretty good athlete to being one of the best in the province. And as it turned out, that year I actually won the provincials, despite what was going on around me at home. And so after winning the provincials and making the standards to get to the nationals, he suggested that I move out of our home. And I did. I was in grade 11, and I had a part-time job, and he found me a place to live on Queen's campus. All of the students were away for the summer, and it was just me renting a bed, basically, in someone else's room. And at first, it was very uncomfortable. I obviously knew intellectually that it would be very good for me to be physically safe. And it would be an opportunity for me to rest and not be on high alert all the time. And it also would prove to be very beneficial for me in terms of how well I would do in my training and competing. And you don't have to be in a situation like mine, experiencing abuse or trauma. Your heightened awareness that place we can find ourselves in, where we are constantly going, our minds are constantly going, we are constantly moving, doing one thing or another. It can be a job, it can be your family, it can be a whole bunch of things, but we can find ourselves in a situation where we are constantly under stress, and even good stress is stress. So I move into this room and I bring my quilt and my pillow and my sheets, and I take the bus with my stuff in a green plastic bag and get to my new place. And it was the first time I actually felt alone. I was alone. It was just me and craft dinner, which is basically what I ate for that summer. But then I settled in to this routine of silence and peace when I got home. And even though it felt like I had abandoned ship, that I was isolated from my family, I was starting to feel really full within myself. And my coach said to me, one of the things I really appreciate about you is your ability to be adaptable. And I didn't really understand, what he meant. And then he just kind of laid it all out there for me. And it was like, you know what? You're a kid. Most kids are still at home being supported and loved by their family. And has not been your experience, and you chose to pivot. You chose to do what was right for you, to make a very difficult decision, and that was to protect myself and to move away from trauma. And it struck me because, it was the first time an adult had said something very meaningful to me, like a really thoughtful compliment. And obviously I still remember it to this day, because we do tend to build up all those negative memories and not so often remember the beautiful moments, like that one I just described with my coach. So that summer, I chose to be alone. I chose to be with the discomfort and leaned into it. And there was no TV in the apartment or in the house, and there were, no distractions. It was just me. And that became a very powerful, lifelong skill that I developed. The ability to be alone without feeling lonely. That I was full, but of myself instead of distractions. So I went on to place very well at the nationals, and I made the junior national team. And no one was there to witness it. No family, no friends, just me. And it didn't affect how I felt about myself. Like, sure, it would have been great had I been able to share that with somebody. But I was just like, I did this. My coach obviously was part of the reason, a big part, as to how I managed to do that well. But it became very powerful for me to know that I could stand alone and still feel whole. That my winning did not need to be validated by external sources. And we want to be validated. So the validation, that skill, that lesson came very early in life for me, that maybe there were not going to be people around to, pat me on the back. So learning to dig deep, choosing to dig deep is valuable, because we learn to find and access our own power, our authentic power, our staying power, while no one is watching, especially when no one's watching. It becomes quite profound. So learning to be in this world and not expecting the admiration of others is a very strong, important tool in our toolboxes. So that when we are affirmed, when we are congratulated, when we are acknowledged, it's a beautiful thing. And I have to say, it took me many years to be able to say thank you to people and not try and, turn it around. That I learned how to be present for the genuine praise that sometimes would happen, naturally happens in our lives. So I thought I'd share with you the 2 techniques of meditation that I learned as an athlete about pretty much 40 years ago. And I do them in one way or another every day. So the first one will be a breath awareness and relaxation meditation, and the second one will be a form of visualization. So I won't have you visualizing jumping a high jump bar or running track like I learned, visualizing how I want to perform. That was how visualization was approached initially with me. Visualizing how calm I would be, visualizing how confident I would be, in a big stadium with people watching. So we're going to do a different visualization, and it will be a heart-centered meditation. It's beautiful. I think you will love it. So allow the eyes to close. And just allow your attention to turn inward. Bringing your awareness inside. Noticing the sensations of the body. And just allow yourself to sit deeper in your seat. Sit tall, extended spine, nice open chest. And bring your awareness to the top of the head. And allow the scalp to relax. Notice the space between the eyes. Relax. Notice the corners of the eyes. Relax. Soften the jaw. Allow the tongue to sit, perhaps just resting behind the front teeth. Allow the face to relax. Bring your awareness to the shoulders. releasing any tension here. Noticing the arms, the hands, the place where the hands meet the thighs or each other if they're clasped. Just noticing that touch point. Allow any tension in the hands to be released here. Incredible amount of work that our hands do on our behalf. Allow us to touch someone we love, to wave, help us cook. Just releasing tension here. And bringing your awareness to the heart center. And noticing a rise and fall of the chest wall with each inhalation and each exhalation. Stay with the breath here, simply witnessing the body from the inside out at the heart center. Now bring your attention deep into the belly and witness here the softening of the belly, the expansion of the belly with each inhalation. And the gentle contraction of the belly with each exhalation. And allow any tension remaining through the hips, in the pelvic girdle. Allow any tension to be released here. A lot of tension is held in our lower organs, not allowing for a full breath, not allowing for full circulation of oxygen. So we breathe deeply and we soften. Bring your awareness to the sit bones. Perhaps one feels a little more pressure than the other. Just allow gravity to draw you further in the space, further in your seat. Rooting you here, right now. Witnessing your own presence. And bring your awareness to the tops of the legs, perhaps where they meet the chair or the cushion. And relax. Relax the knees, the calves, Bring your awareness to the feet as they meet the floor or your cushion. Just noticing contact points within the feet and your surroundings. Relax the feet. Our feet also do a tremendous job for us each and every day, holding us upright, carrying the weight. We can turn our attention to our feet throughout the day and feel a little more rooted, a little more grounded through our feet to the earth. And just bring your awareness back to the body in its totality, in its completeness, in its wholeness. And just take a look around and sense if there are any areas still holding tension, discomfort. And for me today, my migraine is directing me to just soften the breath in my brain, in my head. And now bring your awareness back to the heart center. And just allow once again your attention to fall in with the rhythm of the heart, watching it effortlessly rise and fall with each breath. And with each inhalation, if it's accessible to you, visualize inhaling light to the heart center and exhaling love. And you can either say that silently if visualization is not available to you. And some people, that's the case. So if you can inhale light to the heart and exhale love through the heart, we can start there. And otherwise you can include the mantra, in love, in light, out love. I breathe in light. I breathe out love. And just stay with this visualization or mantra. Or you can do both if that's accessible. I breathe in light and I breathe out love at your own pacing. I breathe in light and I breathe out love through the heart. And stay with the breath. Stay with the visualization or mantra. if you choose, you can bring one hand to the heart center. I breathe in light. I breathe out love. And if your mind wanders, which our minds were built to do, they were built to think, just gently bring your awareness and attention back to the breath, back to the mantra, back to the light. A couple more rounds. I breathe in light. I breathe out love. And you can release the mantra and the visualization. You can bring the hands back to the thighs or your mudra. Just allow yourself to remain in stillness with the breath for a few more moments. And we'll take a couple of big deep breaths, keeping the eyes closed for the moment, inhaling deeply. Exhale fully through the mouth. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully, belly to spine. Last time. And gently allow the eyes to open. Once again, receiving your space. And it's a pretty cool space we're in after meditation. Even just closing the eyes sometimes will settle. Taking a big deep breath, closing the eyes and exhaling. It's a really accessible, easy way to reduce stress in any situation. Nobody needs to know that you're doing it. I loved the combination of the meditation we did today. And I would like to invite you to practice the lightness, the love through the heart center, especially when we're feeling a little tense. Our hearts hold tension, and it could just be from for practical reasons that we're tense about a job, or we're tense about finances or relationships or whatever. But it's also extremely powerful when we silently repeat this gesture of lightness and love when we are in the presence of people who are disrupting our stillness and our inner sense of lightness and love. when we are in a situation, when we are feeling clenched and we find that our thoughts are becoming unkind, we can use this as a technique to break that chatter, break that conditioning, and just go in. Nobody knows. And I guarantee you, it shifts your state in a nanosecond. It's something that I would recommend sharing with children, sharing with your parents if they're older. I do a fair bit of work with individuals that have retired and suddenly have nowhere to place their energy. And as they get older, there's a great deal of anxiety about life and death. And this is a really beautiful way to be okay with where we are and to participate and to shift that dynamic of lack to one of abundance. So circling back to how we started this morning, that it allows us to feel full when we are alone. It allows us to have greater internal presence and power when we establish this presence within ourselves, so that in isolation, whether self-directed like I did in high school or directed through a world event, that we can learn to be okay. And not only okay, thrive, accept, and lean into isolation, and choose to use that as an opportunity to reset priorities, to reboot your central nervous system, to choose to develop further those qualities of character that we most hold dear. So I leave you with that. And I wish you well. And I would like to explain briefly, I do end sometimes with namaste. And namaste is a beautiful gesture, which means the divine in me sees the divine in you. So I leave that with you. Namaste.